Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the Ammo Nerd. If you've spent any time watching YouTube over the last many years and you're familiar with Bro Science life, and he's mentioned that he used to put out new videos every week, think of that statement like my statement about how I'm never going to do optic reviews anymore, because guess what we've got today? An optic review. If you spend any amount of time looking at rifle optics over the last few years, you've probably come across the name Arken a few times. They offer quite a few different features that punch well above their price range, like their JED glass. I actually reviewed their SH4 Gen 2 back around 2022, and I was impressed with their offerings. So for today, we're looking at Arken's EPL-4, the 4 to 16 by 44 millimeter first focal plane scope. This is a lightweight, long-range offering that's packing a ton of features for a price point that you typically wouldn't find in a more budget-oriented scope. If you weren't aware, first focal plane scopes, the reticle changes size as the magnification changes versus a second focal plane scope where the reticle size remains constant. As always, in full transparency, Arken Optics sent over this EPL-4 for me to review with no strings attached. I don't have an affiliate set up with them of any kind as of writing this review. I'm just here to give my God-honest opinion on the stuff that I'm sent. Since I'm the data guy or data nerd, we're going to dive into our basic specifications on our EPL-4. We have a 4 to 16 power magnification. We have a 44 millimeter objective lens. It is first focal plane. This is the illuminated VHR reticle. We have our zero stop elevation turret, 1.45 inches in diameter. Each click is 1/4 MOA. They do have mil reticles. We have our side focus parallax adjustment as well as our illumination knob. The windage is actually capped. It is 1.06 inches in diameter, still 1/4 click MOA, and we do have toolless adjustment to set that 0 on there. We have our fully multi-coated Japanese low dispersion glass, aluminum construction like pretty much most scopes are these days, aerospace grade, whatever you want to call it. I'm still not sure if YouTube lets me mention the price of anything, but since this is a firearm accessory, we won't go ahead and say that price, but I will say it is very competitive compared to what you would pay for other brands with the same features. Overall, right out of the box, I was very impressed with this optic. We don't have any rough spots or weird machining marks anywhere on this scope that you wouldn't need rough spots. Say, the turret's got to be a little bit rough so you can actually turn them, but the finish is uniform and it doesn't feel cheaply put together. The magnification ring rotates smoothly without being too stiff, and both the elevation and windage turrets have crisp tactile clicks that give positive feedback. I will say that the windage is not as clicky as our elevation, but they're not going to go anywhere if you accidentally bump them. They're easy to feel without having to second guess whether you've actually made an adjustment. As mentioned earlier, each click is 1/4 MOA on this particular reticle. Arken is using Japanese extra low dispersion glass on the EPL-4, and image clarity is very good throughout the magnification range, and the reticle itself has crisp, well-defined etching that's easy to pick up without looking overly busy on this particular reticle. Even at the lowest magnification setting, the reticle is still usable. Parallax adjustment is another area where this optic does well. It focuses surprisingly close all the way down to 10 yards, so it's useful for me when I'm shooting body armor and or when I need to stretch its legs for an ammunition review. During testing, the turrets tracked consistently and I had no issues returning to 0. The included zero stop is straightforward to set up. I don't have to take the elevation turret off to set it. There are some complaints about stripping out the little hex head, and on the EP5 Gen 2, it's now a Torx head. You'll find this EPL-4 has a generous 86 MOA of elevation adjustment, and I think 41 MOA of windage. So that comes in handy if you're shooting subs and supers and say 300 blackout or 8.6 black. Usually I'll take a little red chalk marker or something and mark on here where my sub or super 0 is, so that if I need to switch between the two again, especially for shooting armor, I have those down pat so that I can actually hit what I'm aiming at. Our EPL-4 was mounted in an American Defense Manufacturing quick detached cantilever mount. If I have the available funds, ADM is almost always my first choice for mounts. Depending on how you level your scopes, the large center section of the scope coupled with some mounts may prevent you from using wedges. I can't say this with all scope brands, but at least with the 3 Arkens we've leveled, the elevation cap is level with the scope's reticle. I use the wedges when I can, and I know a lot of people prefer using the flashlight through the front end and a plumb bob at the back to truly level it. But in a pinch, if you can't use the wedges, at least on the Arkens, the scope cap seems to be level with the reticle, so you can do it that way. For the duration of this review, our EPL-4 was mounted on top of our Sig Sauer Cross in 277 Fury, or 6.8 by 51 millimeters. That's the hybrid case high pressure ammunition. We've been using it to do all of our armor demos, as well as completing ammo reviews on our 277 Fury / 6.8 by 51. There's quite a bit to like on our Arken Optics EPL-4. It has good fit and finish and overall quality. I like that the magnification ring is very smooth, and these dimensions pretty much fit their accessory line, like the throw lever and the little bubble level. I like that our windage turrets and elevation turrets are very tactile, and those are very positive clicks. I actually like the very large diameter on there, so when I need to make adjustments, whether I'm wearing gloves or no gloves, I can do that, and I know that I'm actually making those adjustments. We have excellent glass clarity and a very well-defined reticle. I like that the zero stop is easy to use without having to take the turret cap off there. We can pretty much set that and forget it. I love the close focusing parallax adjustment on this, and overall I think this is a very good value for the money scope. Of course, nothing is perfect, so I do have a little bit of constructive criticism on our EPL-4. The eye box and eye relief are still somewhat constrained compared to other brands. It's certainly usable, but you'll notice it's a little less forgiving when getting behind the rifle at our higher magnification levels. The illumination on the reticle is another area that I think could be improved. Just like the SH4 that we reviewed back in 2022, only the center section on this reticle is actually illuminated, and the whole daytime brightness thing is usable, but if you have an overbearing amount of daytime light, you'll find that this brightness lacks. Now, like Spinal Tap, I feel that if you crank it up to 6 and or 11, it should be overbearingly bright to where you can actually just turn it down to one of the lower settings, so that if you need that brightness, you've got it, and if you don't, you can just turn it down to the setting that you need. Speaking of illumination, when set to 6 on our EPL-4, only the center section is illuminated, and that illumination tends to bleed over to the rest of the reticle almost like a shadow, and you may notice that your subtensions at higher magnifications is somewhat blurry. Now, to Arken's credit, this is something that they've addressed with the new EP5 Gen 2 that I actually have back there that I've started to review. That has a much better illumination to where the entire reticle is illuminated, and so far at the max brightness setting, which is brighter than this one too, we're not getting that weird bleed off on the reticle. At the end of the day, I think Arken delivered with our EPL-4. I have a good set of features, and overall I think this scope is very solid. Now, yes, it is made in China, but that doesn't automatically disqualify this product as being quality. Pretty much anybody can put out a subpar product, and we've seen that from time to time again if you follow certain pages that like to look at the quality of objects. A lot of times it's the materials, the manufacturing process, the quality assurance, and at the end of the day, good customer service, which can help build a solid product. If you're looking for your first precision rifle scope, or simply want a feature-rich optic without spending well over $1,000, the EPL-4 deserves a serious look. If you have any experience with Arken Optics, good or bad, the comments you leave below may help the next person. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here, but at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who helped make this possible, because there's a lot that goes into this stuff. Number one is my family. A big thank you to Amy and Deacon for always helping me, either out to the range, pulling the trigger, or helping me take care of the land out there. Deacon would like to remind you all to like and subscribe and share these videos so the algorithm can work for us and not against us. Number two are my Patreon and YouTube channel members. I have my Patreon link in the description below. That should be kosher per YouTube. So if you're looking for ways to support the channel, definitely check out my Patreon. Number three are the fine folks over at Arken Optics. Again, in full transparency, sent me this EPL-4 4 to 16 by 44 millimeter scope for us to review with no strings attached. Number four is Sig Sauer, an honorable mention for providing me with industry pricing so I could pick up that Sig Cross so that we could check out the ammunition that they have in that 6.8 by 51 millimeters. And of course, number five is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.